Hold on here. I don't know if I'm in a good mood or not. Let me see what's going on here. Uh, can you hear me now? No? I'm on. You can hear me now? Okay, good. I guess I don't know what I did. I got some new headphones. I guess I didn't set them up right. So there you go. That was the problem. So we back to the old pair right now. I'll work with those new ones later. Um, but anyway, as I was saying, I'm happy that you guys were spending your Friday evening with me and gave up your time because it's so early here still on the West Coast, but it's pretty late on the East Side and in Central Time. So we are always appreciative. I got some really I mean, like like what kind of memes and stuff in this week from everybody. You guys have been really good about sending them in because it's more you than it is me. So you guys be out and about and you see these things and you send them in. If that's you and you uh, are out in somewhere and you see something interesting, an interesting meme, an interesting post, an interesting graphic of some sort, just be sure to download it to your computer and or screenshot it and email it to me at survivingdating@gmail.com. Make the subject line Dusty News. We have set up a folder. So all of the stuff that you guys send is going to be filtered in there. So it'll be in one place in my email box because, honey, I must get 500, 600 emails every week, if not more. So this is going to be helpful to have them all filtered into one place. So yeah. I didn't mean to do that. My apologies. I'm over here clicking too fast. Anyway, let's get started because we got a lot of stuff. Yes, Dusty Logic for real. We got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. I have a lot of things to show you. And again, the general overriding theme is one about taking control of your mind and in some instances even your assets. So let's get started. Let's go through some of these. All right. Now this guy is promoting that uh you ladies not ask for much. They don't want a woman who's going to ask to be taken out and for any kind of money to be spent on her or to be, in a situation where she gets to dress up and look pretty and all this kind of stuff. What he's trying to set you up to do is to be a mama. Notice this. Dinner will be ready by 8, baby. Be safe. See you later. Type of woman. What woman says that to a grown man? That's what you say to your children when they're going off to school or going on a date or going driving in the car with the party to their friends or something. You say, be safe, baby. Be safe. You know, this and that. I mean, I was just kind of shocked because I've never said be safe to a man ever. Because I figure he's grown. He knows what to do. He don't need me to be, hovering over him like I'm his mama, like a mother hen. It's like what? So it's like what are you trying to say here, dude? It's like you want a woman to treat you like you're a helpless little baby and you need supervision and guidance and instruction and encouragement to do the stuff outside the house that you're supposed to do anyway. Be safe. What does that mean? You know what I mean? And then don't want you to, where you taking me to eat ass females. He wants you to be slaving over a hot stove. So what's he doing for you with all of this you know, with this exchange? I don't know. I was kind of stuttering like I am now because the message here is so negative and so many women when they see stuff like this will co-sign on it. Yeah, that's me. I want my man to be safe. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so they fall for the game. And it's like, ladies, come on now. This is somebody who's trying to manipulate you into not asking for anything of him. He just wants you to do for him. He don't want to do anything for you. So I called throwing the bullshit flag on that one, and so there we go. That's the first, the first strike on the Dusty News Network of the night. Now this guy, he was just really out of control. He says whether he has a house or not, if I date a woman with a house, I become the man of that house and she will listen to me. Or she can get out. She can get out of her own house because you there now and you're going to be the man of the house? No, 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 no. You ain't paying no bills. Your name ain't on the lease. Your name ain't on the mortgage. You ain't the man of the house. So he could be a homeless homosexual, but he feels like once he come up in your house, that he's the man of the house. Now, I don't know how many of you might agree with them because a lot of women do. People's co-signing all over this, like, yeah, because I want to submit. I want to be, my man to be in charge and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, what in the world? I want to remind you guys too, watch your language. Now, if I have to kind of tone mine down, that means you do too. Because Google is on one, it's on my channel about what language is being used. So you will notice a lot of your messages getting deleted when you say say foul, crazy stuff. So I mean, you better tone that down. You don't have to use like the most foulest language ever. Just moderate yourselves, and then the moderators won't have to moderate you. How about that? But I just want to say, let you know, so people be like, "Well, what happened to my comment?" That's what happened to it. So you understand. We have to change our role here a little bit because they fucking with a sister's money. So and this all the stuff and a host of these servers and stuff. This stuff is expensive, and I need that little change. So this dude, yes, he's very much tripping, and he looked like a turtle. Like, dude, I know you can't be for real. You tripping for real. You thinking that somebody gonna hand the reins of the house over to you? That's so not gonna happen. Or the part that killed me though was the end. Or she can get out. Hmm, is that so? All right, let's move on. Some of this stuff I have to tell you guys, I have no words. I have very few words. I'm letting the nonsense speak for itself because it's like, I mean, what are you supposed to do in a situation like this? He comes in, you let him move in with you, which is mistake number one, and then he gonna be coming in the door, trying to act like he runs something. And you just a homeless bum. I don't think you get to run anything but the vacuum cleaner. You better get the hell out of my face. I don't think so. All right, here we go. This is number three. You can, but just don't be going just crazy, Kayla. I mean, some people was in here just like going like, I mean, just ridiculous. Let me just put it that. I didn't say you couldn't. I just said don't go crazy. Now, notice this. What kind of message is this sending to you? Basically, what it's telling you is for those pig and women who are always worried about getting them somebody's approval outside of themselves. It's basically telling you that you to be a good woman, even after he disappoints you, which means he lies to you, he abandons you, he flakes on you, he don't step up the way he's supposed to, he makes promises that he doesn't keep, and you have expectations of him that he doesn't meet, you want a relationship with him that doesn't happen, all of the things that disappoint and break your heart. He's saying that you're still a good woman even after all of that. So basically, what he's saying is he gets to treat you any way he wants to, not do anything that he's supposed to do, not hold up his end of the bargain, not keep his promises, stuff. Said he disappoints you on a daily basis, and you're supposed to still smile, and you're supposed to still, you know, be happy that he considers you a good woman, even though he's dogging you out to the nth degree. I'm like, wow, this is just some amazing shit. I can't even find the words. I'm telling you, the people sent the memes that y'all came up with. Some of them I found myself, but still, the collection of them today is so freaking dusty. It's unbelievable. Yes, lady boss. It is a definitely a dusty dating apocalypse. This is one she remains a good woman even after all the disappointments. So, you're not supposed to cuss him out or tell him about himself. You're supposed to still be trying to be, quote, this good woman. I'm like, psh, please. That's so not going to happen. All right, let's go to the next one. Now, this was on page, what you call them, Facebook. What is this? And okay, let's start at the top though. This real women thing. What is that? Why does Negroes always talking about somebody's a real woman? What is it like? There's only like real women, and then there's fake women, which are the trans women. So it's like you can't do both. So if a woman is a woman and she was born that way, then she's a real woman. I mean, what do you want here? But they try to put it in degrees of where you have to qualify your womanhood in the eyes of nignoggary. And so if you to be wearing this quote real woman hat, you have to give him your entire paycheck and quote earn an allowance. What are we, 10? We gonna do chores and earn our allowance? This is some straight pimpery stuff right here. That's what that is. Just like, the woman goes and she out on the corner making the money. I guess they don't do that anymore though. Everything's so high tech, everything's on the internet. And the guy gets the money, right? And so then he just takes care of her and buys some little clothes and maybe gives her $10 or something. But essentially, it's that same kind of thing. He's pimping you. That's what this is. That's what he's trying to set up. So you may not be on a corner, but the end result is the same. You're working and you're giving him your money. So that particular thing is that particular aspect is exactly the same. So I just looked at that. I was like, wow. Yeah, of course it's photoshopped. But who knows what she was doing there, what she was holding, what the sign originally said. But that's what it says now when I found it. And so that's why you seeing it. I can't worry about was, woulda, shoulda, coulda was in the past. I worry about what it says right now. And what was all over Facebook was this. And so this is the message that they were trying to promote to sisters. So in order to be a real woman, this is what you have to do. Like real women cook every day, and real women this, and real women that. And so many young women, especially, well, actually older ones too, get caught up in it because you see them online, right? They be on these these forums and threads and whatnot. And so some dude will post something like that, right? So here they come in droves. Because some of these groups I go and what they call it, lurk. I lurk in them. And they might have 50, 60,000 members, right? So, when a thread is hot, you could get 800, 1,000, 1,500 responses like nothing. So when you have something like this, and then all these women, they want to qualify you and they want everybody to know that they are real, quote, real woman. So here they go underneath the thread, talking about, yeah, I'm a real woman because I take care of my man, and my man don't want for nothing, and my man this and my man, and so you see them on the thing. They're trying to outdo each other with they my man and what slave routines they perform and circus tricks and stuff they perform for quote my man, and I just be sitting there looking at them like I'm not doing any of that. I'm gonna be busy doing other things, not that. And you think you're gonna get my paycheck? The only person who gets my paycheck is me, because I'm the only one busting my butt for it. Sorry, not happening. So what is a real man? They don't know. They don't want to talk about that. They just want to tell, endless. There's endless. It's like every man is is a relationship expert when it comes to telling women what to do. Did you notice that? Well, as a man, they love to preface stuff with that. As a man, I say this and I say that, and you women need to understand this. Men like this and men like that. No, you like that. That's the only person on this whole planet that likes that is you. So it's not men, it's not plural. It's this man singular. Okay? Back to grammar school for you. Back you go. So there's that. I'm just like, wow. You a fake woman? Yeah, me too, if that's the criteria. Now, I thought this was kind of interesting. Why do, I don't know what he was trying to say. Well, anyway, why deadbeat dads get bashed for not being there for their kids, but we never question if the child has bad vibes or if they're just unpleasant to be around. Well, all kids are unpleasant to be around. If you ask me, they get on your nerves. But, that's part of being a child. And what you're supposed to be doing as their parent is training them, educating them, socializing them, and, teaching them. That's what you're there to do. So if you have a child and you avoid your child, you deadbeat roach, because your child has bad vibes. Did you ever think that the child has bad vibes with you because the child doesn't know you? The child's not familiar with you. You're like a stranger to the child. And parents usually teach their children stranger danger. So it's hard for a little kid who's been taught stranger danger to suddenly drop all of that and be friendly and nice and cozy and cuddly and loving and warm to you just because you the sperm donor when you come walking through the door. Okay, your child doesn't really know you. Your child has no relationship with you. You're like a stranger to your child. And of course, the child's going to be standoffish and kind of hesitant and reticent and shy and all these other things because your child doesn't know you, you idiot. If they're unpleasant to be around, it's the same thing. The kid has no relationship with you. The kid only has a relationship with his or her mama. And so, you know how little kids do? They cling to their parent because they're around somebody that they don't know. They take a while to warm up to you. But if you are constantly avoiding your child, well, then that's what's going to be the result all the time. Every time that you see them, it's going to be the same. It's going to be have to like starting over from scratch with a little kid. That doesn't work, you fool. Oh my God. I was looking at this and I'm like, wow. Mandatory vasectomies. Wasn't this some amazing stuff? I'm like, you couldn't figure that out? You don't get familiar with a job by not going to work. You don't learn the job by staying at home. Okay, you have to be over there doing it so that you learn it and your coworkers get familiar with you, your boss gets familiar with you, the clients get familiar with you. Stuff starts flowing because people know who you are, they know how you work, and they know you have the answers and can help them solve the problem that they have. That's how people relax around you. So you have a little kid. I mean, they don't even have the faculties that adults do to reason and come up with plausible reasons for things and stuff like that. But this dude has a mind of like a 5-year old. Well, that's not my friend. I'm not gonna play with you because you're not my friend. That's what he sounds like to me, like a 5-year old. I'm like, wow, these women, y'all really need to be more careful about who you be having babies with. I am so serious right now. And all I'm being one of them things where I'm telling you, what to do and not to have kids and all stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. Even though, that probably half of the kids probably shouldn't be here. But look, I'm just saying, look at this nonsense here. Look at how this fool thinks. Okay, there's no signs of intelligent reasoning here being presented. This is an idiot. Okay, and had the woman who had this baby by him or multiple children sat down and talked to him about this stuff, she could have figured out that this was a fool and that fools should not duplicate. Okay, they should not reproduce. Fools should genes should die out. You should not allow a fool's genes to come back into the dating pool. You should not do that. I don't even know what to say. You know, that's I just I'm like this. Like when I was putting these slides together, the whole time I was doing a lot of staring. Like tilting your head to the side. You know how puppies do. You just tilt your head and you're going, hmm? 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 You try to, you know how dogs do their head to the side like that, and you try looking at it at different angles. Like maybe if you sneak up on it, it might actually make some sense. And this is only the beginning. Okay, we're on what, slide 4, 5, something like that. There's a lot more. I think I have about 16, 17 of these things, 18 something, some large and sad number. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Yeah, that was just kind of disgusting. And that's when I said, okay, lady, y'all got to do better about who you be breeding with. Because dudes is just sad. Now, this one, okay, this, again, I'm guessing this is somebody who's in Africa somewhere. He's like, coming from behind. I saw him talking to my sister, and I heard him telling her, "I will take very good care of you. What should I do?" He says. Look at dude. Okay, look, move in, get close. Look at what's up in there. Do you see what I see? Looks like termites done got to hold of dude's ear underwears. How old are those things? Ah! And dude say, he's saying he's gonna take good care of his sister. I'm like, dude, you should have busted him out right there on the spot. That's what you should have done. You just noticed? No. I'm trying to tell you, you got to look at it. Look at it like termites done just made a home in it. He just, I'm speechless. I'm just sitting here and I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, if I walked up on something like that, what would I do? Knowing me, because I don't have no chill, no couth, and no sense. I would have just walked up there and pointed at his butt and been like, "Ooh, your underwears have holes in them. I can see your booty." That would have been me because I can't hold water like that. It's like that opportunity. The clown would just be too much for me to hold on to. I would have to do it. I just can't hold it back. And so I would have had the clown. It's like, dude, really? That shit is air conditioned. What are you doing? You can't take care of buying yourself a new pair of 2.99 drawers. You sure ain't gonna be able to take care of my sister. You need to get up and get the fuck out. That's what you need to do. This would never do. And I don't know. You want to faint? You know, I just, I'm telling you, I did a lot of staring. I did a lot of staring today at these pictures and these things that came through. Y'all just went in on these people. Well, see, she's not aware of it yet. And chances are, he's going to take his stuff off and he's going to, she'll never see the holes in his drawer. So, if you ain't that kind of people that like to, undress each other and all that old stuff, I'm not down with that. I don't want to do that. Take your own clothes off. I'm getting out of mine right quick. I bet you that, boy. But yeah, that was kind of an amazing thing right there. So I just had to share that one with you. Okay, now this is from our Facebook wall. I mean, our YouTube wall. This is an actual post a young lady made. And then this was the actual response from this guy up on my wall. And see, since I have all the comments have to get approved first, that's what that check mark is. So when I click it, then it will approve it and then it will go live on the wall. If I don't check it, well, somebody, my cousin, one of us has to approve it before it goes live on the wall. And I thought, okay, let me take a picture of this before I do anything with it because I'll forget where it was and I'll come back trying to find it. So I did it first. So this young lady was talking about this man that she met that was in his 40s, talking about his ex was only 19 years old, and he claimed that other women were hating on him. when the two of them would go out. And, he's like, oh, you have some men who like to talk to younger females so they can mold them and to do what they want. It's disgusting, she says. And this guy comes back and says, how is that disgusting? Okay, do you guys understand what you just saw? She's like, it's disgusting that a man with a woman 21 years younger than he is trying to mold her to do what he wants. Like she's like a, pepping on a string, a little marionette doll or some clay. And it's disgusting because these guys are so much older and they have much game, and they're running it on these girls that are merely teenagers. They're kids still. I know 18 is considered an adult, but I'm sorry, they're still children to mentally and emotionally until they're at least in their mid 20s. So you got somebody who's only 19, she's still a kid. And this 40-year-old, in his 40s, so he's not 40, he's in his 40s. So let's just say he's 44. So, he's like 23, 24 years older than she is. That's old enough to be her daddy. And he's sitting up there, you know, trying to figure out why that's disgusting that this young girl is in the clutches of somebody old enough to be her father who's not allowing her the space to be the young person that she needs to be, to grow into who she needs to be on her own. He's influencing her and directing her and coercing her and manipulating her because that's what older men do, and that's why they like to get with these really young, uh, really young women. And I was like, I don't know how much more disgusting that could be, but I tell you what, you let my daughter well, she's way older than 19 now, but if she was that age and I saw some 40-year-old man that's my age come sniffing around my baby, then we gonna have a problem. It's gonna be where you're gonna be like dodging some bullets, because I'm gonna be shooting and you're gonna be hopping up and down trying to make sure that none of them hit you. You better be ducking and bobbing and weaving and low running and a whole bunch of other stuff because you're not going to do that. Not to my child. You're not going to do it. Not as much as we've been through together. No, 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 that's not happening. So I was just like, wow. He just could not understand how that was a disgusting thing for some old nasty man to do to a 19-year-old girl. So y'all got girls that age, you better watch out because these dudes be on them. That age group between 16 and 23, they just be on them to try to to manipulate them. Even at jobs, they be on them. Okay, now this was kind of interesting. Now this guy Brian White, I don't know what I've seen him in. Does somebody know what show he's playing in? I don't watch TV except when I'm at my relative's house. So, but he was in something that I saw at some point, sometime, somewhere. I don't know, but I recognize his face. But anyway, so this is from an article in this magazine, and he says that women, well, people miss out on their soulmate because they don't value potential. That's the title. So then when you go into the article, there's a quote here. Some people think that if they're a doctor, they should be with another doctor. If they're a lawyer, they should be with a lawyer. Get rid of the boxes. The tighter they are, the less likely you are to meet the actual fit for you. Our partners are complements of us, they're not mirrors. Now, in a certain respect, I agree with them. You should be a little flexible with uh, your choice. Now, what does that mean? That means that if you're a doctor, you're a physician, do you have to be with another physician? No, because there are a lot of other people that are on a similar educational level. You might be a doctor with an attorney. You might be a doctor with a CEO, a CFO, a network engineer. Somebody whether it's going to have a high level of education, though, and they're going to have a professional career. And I would not see anything wrong with that because that person is going to have to really understand the work that you put in to be a doctor and the demand on your time and what it means to you, to the world, a community, and to the world for you to have the title of physician. That's a heavy load. On an airplane, is there a doctor on the plane? Okay, suddenly a complete stranger's life is in your hands. And due to the Hippocratic oath, they have to step up. You see what I'm saying? So there's going to be a certain type of person who's going to understand that social responsibility that comes with being a physician. As far as being an attorney, it depends what kind. There's corporates and there's the wills and estates and trusts and tax attorneys and litigators and there's the DAs and the public defenders and the ambulance chasers and social, the ones that work for, to change government laws and stuff like that. There's many different types of attorneys. So you would have to match somebody who's got the same outlook and vision for what they want to do with their law, their power in the law. Maybe they want to become a judge or, and effect change and change laws. They want to become a constitutional attorney or something to defend things. They're going to want to go work for, what's uh, that big company, I forgot, I can't think of the name of it right now, where they go the ACLU, go work for the ACLU, and and go around and really keep those politicians in check and fight for the underdog and stuff like that. I mean, it depends what kind of person you are, what kind of mate is going to be attracted to you. So on that, I kind of agree with him, but then you don't want to get rid of the boxes. You just want to make the boxes a little bit bigger. And that's important, especially for black women, because one of the things they are trying to get you to do is give some loser a chance. And by saying, well, you're going to bank on this potential, motherfuckers at 40 don't have no potential. At 20, yes. At 40, no. Even at 30, no. Because in those 20s, they're supposed to be actualizing whatever potential they have. If a dude hits 30 and he hasn't done nothing with his life yet, he's still running around in circles chasing women and doing stupid stuff. He's a loser. He's out. He's out of the running. Okay, don't waste no time with him. Don't do it. And I don't care what kind of magical potion he thinks he's got and talking all the smack and stuff, talking about, well, I have potential. Where? Where is it? Where? What's it doing for you? What's it going to do for me? So this was kind of a difficult one because, like I said, part of me agreed with part of it. But where he says get rid of the boxes, don't ever get rid of your boxes. You need to make sure that your boxes are realistic. Make sure that there's as much flexibility as possible. Like, okay, it's just saying a doctor, or lawyer. Well, I want a man who's professional, with advanced education. Okay, that's a big box, and that's in a lot more people. But just say you don't get rid of a box. Okay, then here come Dusty Marcellus Washington from that lives under the troll bridge down there, and he's talking about, well, babe, I got potential, and then you end up messing around with him because he says he got potential and you got rid of your boxes. No, too many women get caught up like that, especially sisters. Following this, you need to support the black men kind of nonsense. Please don't waste your time. But yeah, this was a real super dusty meme. I'm like, this he trying to be slick and make it sound, like it's something that's good and instructive to women. And like I said, each one of them want to portray themselves as being some kind of relationship expert for black women. But you guys got to read behind the lines and understand what they said. If he hadn't said get rid of the boxes like flatly, eliminate them altogether, I might be able to roll with dude. But once he said that, it was a wrap. Nah, no, we ain't getting rid of no box, not around here. I'm trying to get some of these sisters to come here to get a box. Shoot, they just go out with anybody and do anything because they want to have a man. I'm trying to work at that level. And he talking about getting rid of the boxes. So he's basically contradicting everything I'm trying to teach women about boundaries and goals for themselves. And and having setting standards for the men that they let come in their life. So I really wanted you guys to see this so I could explain to you what this is and what the message is he's really trying to give you and how you have to kind of twist that around so that it works for you and makes more sense. Okay? So let's move on to the next one. Now, this was some sick stuff here. I was like, oh my God. This young lady said she dated a man who didn't wash the crack of his ass because he said that nothing was going in the crack of his ass, not even a wash rag. And so I'll just let you read this. And she said anyway they broke up because he was just a little bit too much on the homophobic tip for her, and and she's sitting up there blowing her nose just talking about it because the smell that she is made this olfactory uh memory so that she can still smell it, months and years later. I'm like, oh, this poor child. I'm just like, I'm not going to read it. I'm going to just let y'all read it. Yes, yes. He was too homophobic to wash between his cheeks because he don't want nothing going up in there. And I was just kind of like, wow. At least sit in the bath to, some bath water. That might kind of do the trick. But if you only taking showers and you not washing in there, well, there's a problem there. Yes, it's very wild. Oh, I just couldn't believe it. And I just had, because I didn't want to be the only one who was sitting here feeling sick. So I had to share so you guys could feel sick with me. Because dude was just off the chain. Can you believe it? I think the part that was the funniest where she's like, that experience almost scarred me for life. Almost shoot. I would still be like walking around with a nose, what they call it, a clothespin on my nose, because that funk would have just been a bit too much. Can you imagine though? I mean, if he never takes a bath and he never washes up in there when he showers, how many years worth of funk is that? Are you feeling me? There's a problem there. He's gonna smell like pig pen when he goes walking by. Yeah. That's all I could do is give him some serious side eye like, you natty. You natty man. I just I just couldn't. I could not. Yeah. And so so many women talk about, their husbands have skid marks and stuff and they be doing their laundry. See, no. I'm not going to wash your nasty clothes. Your nasty clothes with streaks on them that are not printed in the fabric are going to be washed by your alone in their own cycle. I don't want any of that washing in the water and getting on my clothes. See, that's just gross. And my daughter used to wear cloth diapers, because I was trying to save money. I washed the diapers. But you know what went in the washing machine with her diapers? Nothing. They were all diapers, nothing else. And then I would want to run a cycle with nothing in it but some bleach and water and soap, and the quick cycle thing, and then let the machine clean out, and then we would wash clothes. And my husband thought I was crazy. He's like, "You wasting all that water? How we saving money with these?" But even then, I was environmentally conscious. I'm like, just think about all these diapers in the landfill, and that's before they start making them biodegradable. So it's a little bit better now, but still, it's just such a waste of plastics and stuff. I just couldn't see doing that. So we use cloth diapers, and that's how I handled it. So this guy, I don't know what to say about that, but she's happy she broke up with dude, and it seemed like she could have smelled that before they got that close to the action, but I don't know. I have a sensitive nose. I can smell stuff like, just sit next to somebody. But I'm like, what's that funky smell? All right. Now, this one, Supreme Dusty Logic, he says every year the same bitter women saying the same stuff. And you realize that's black men's favorite word, bitter. Black folks, period. Women use that term too. Everybody bitter. Everything's bitter. If you don't like something, you bitter about it. Just like, okay, y'all just going at the source and pick a new word, please. It's like so boring. Y'all use the same word over and over. All right. So he says there's women that will never respect Father's Day for their own bad choices. Now, what he's trying to say is that the women are mad at the men who fathered their children, and that's why they don't respect Father's Day. Those fathers on Father's Day. But see, my thing is this: even if she did pick you to father the child, that has nothing to do with you being a father to the child. What you do with her and her opinion about it. All you have to do is prove her wrong, sir. You just go in there and you prove her wrong. And you say, well, this might not have been an ideal situation for us to have this child, but the child shouldn't suffer because of it. I'm going to step up and I'm going to be the best dad that I can be. I'm not going to be with your trifling ass, but I will be there for my child. And then you do that. So whether she, you know, picked you or not, and it was a bad choice that she picked you, that doesn't have anything to do with you. I mean, it might have been a bad decision on her part, but where do you turn that around to become the man that you need to be for the child that you created? See, it's like this throwing up the hands thing. Like, well, she picked him. It's like, but when are you going to hold him accountable because he also picked her, right? She wasn't in that bed by herself. He picked her just like she picked him. And if she wasn't good enough to be the mother of his child, then why did he sleep with her? See, this is a question I always have for men who have these kind of attitudes. You chose her to sleep with, and you chose her to impregnate, and you chose for her to be the mother of your child, but now you want to be online talking shit. How does that work, sir? I'm not understanding how you're wrapping your little dusty logic mind around the kind of holes and trips and stuff you jumping over to come to this conclusion that somehow because you're not the father you need to be, that's her fault for picking you. I'm like, wow, they really don't want to take responsibility for anything, do they? Everything is someone else's fault. It's just the most unbelievable stuff I've ever seen in my life. It's unbelievable. All right, let's move on to the next one. This is from one of them swipey things I do believe. This is from a swipey thing. This dude's line is so tired, and his name is Chad. You know them five-letter groups that start with an M. They call a white guy who's like the kind of guy that women go after. They call those Chads, and the women they call those Stacys. And so he uses the name Chad. So I hope he's trying to be funny. But, here he is with his little line. You drop something, and she's like, what? With the question marks. Hopefully, your standards. What's up? I'm Chad. Now, that is so lame. You know what my next move would have been? Block. Block. Straight block. Because that is just too corny. He probably thought that that was just so clever to lower your standards. Okay, why would I lower my standards? What's in it for me to do that? Except your corny ass. And I don't think I'm that up to, that desperate, that hard up for somebody to deal with me that I would have to choose a man who comes to me with some corny ass line from 1942. That was the last time that line was fresh, my brother. Okay, you need to, yeah, it's just dumb. I don't know what to say. I was like, I could when I was looking at, it, I could not stop rolling my eyes. And I'm like, this guy, and he there with his picture all grinning and stuff, like he just said the most cleverest thing in the world. And I'm like, wow, these dudes, they just don't get it. It's like is there any, do you guys know? And I'm gonna show you when is this next one? I tried to make an outline so I could keep myself straight about what's coming. Oh, it's a couple of slides away. Another slide about these guys trying to figure out some kind of crazy way to talk to women, and it's amazing how much time, energy, and money they spend trying to figure out some kind of stuff because they all talk about what quote worked, what worked. If you go, which I do, I go and spy on those um those pickup artist forums and stuff. There's a whole bunch of them out there selling all these products and stuff. And so you just go in there. I create myself a male name, and I just go in there and just and loiter. They call it lurk, and see what they be talking about. I'm nosy like that. I want to see stuff, and so they are really like they be in there like trading ideas and stuff techniques that they picked up from some seminar or some book they read. It is the most amazing shit. They seriously like study women like they're studying for like the bar or something. It's And then they turn around and say, well, you aren't important, and what you have between your legs is no big deal. Well, then, why are you putting all this energy into trying to figure out how to get your ass in there then if it's not important? You must think women are stupid and we don't know that. You talk one thing, you talk it out the side of your neck. You talk and talk and talk, but then you're doing something else. So he's like to try to make you feel like, what you have is not important and you're not important. Bullshit. Because it's like it's just millions of them. And that's all they concerned about. It's trying to figure out some kind of way to make something work so they can get you and use you for their benefit. It's pretty amazing, and I want you guys to understand it. So, don't take this stuff lightly. They really are seriously trying to figure out a way to get over on you in every way possible. So y'all got to get up on the game. That's why I spend so much time here trying to tell you all what to do and what to look for and how to recognize the nonsense when it's coming your way. This right here, Mr. Chad, this is an instant block. You drop something. Hopefully you're a standard. Or else I might toy with him and say, well, you need to drop something too. And he probably would think it would be his draws. It'd be like your expectations, because ain't shit here for you, son. Bam! Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Now this shit was funny. I was rolling. It's like, see, people just have too much time on their hands, just way too much time. The internet is where all the creative people go who can't make money in graphic art and design. But they have crazy ideas and they go and make these crazy memes. But that wouldn't that be a good idea though? It's like, it kind of like can do DNA or something, but I don't know how it would compare it to what. It would have to be linked up into a database. But you know, I thought that was kind of cute. But of course, that's not a pregnancy test. That's a thermometer or something showing the temperature. But the concept is cute. But I just threw that in there. That's not really as big of a deal because they're trying to figure out who the daddy is. Shoot, you just watch Maury, you get enough of that. You are not the father. I've always wanted to say that. I want to go on Maury so I could say that. All right, here we go. Now this is kind of interesting. This lady was like, she said somebody's ashy black son made this. Ashy, dusty, same thing. And she's like, okay, I'm gonna read this because this was so amazing to me. This guy's promoting this. Every man should test a woman on the first date, he says. I often take this canceled credit card with me on the first date, and after we've had a good time and a great meal, I'd give the waiter this canceled card, and he would come back and tell me that the card is denied. I would ask my date, does she have a valid credit card, and let her pay and give her the money later, the next day. If she doesn't answer my calls or return my calls, then right there I know she's not the one for me. She's selfish and doesn't have me in her best interest. So get the fuck out of here. And next question, do you test your potential mate on dates? And if so, how? All right. There's a lot to unpack here. So I'm going to leave this on the screen for a little bit so y'all can finish reading it. The first thing I want to point out is he says he would let her pay and give her money later, right? That's what his promise is. But then he says if she doesn't answer my calls or return my calls, but if she owes you owe her money, you can bet I'm gonna answer my goddamn phone. I'm gonna be like, nigga, where my money's at? I want my money. And then I won't talk to him after that. But, it's like you're not going to play those silly games. Conduct yourself like a grown man. What's wrong with you? This is stupid. And so anyway, so he's making it sound like she wouldn't return his calls, or why should she? I'm like, what? Okay, especially if she's pretty savvy chick and she knows that you playing this silly game, right? Because who carries around a canceled credit card? For real, you think that people who have credit cards don't know that? Especially, because once this gets close to the date where the card expires, they always send you another one like a month in advance. We all know this, those of us who have credit cards, so that you don't have to have any downtime. The other one cancels, the new one kicks in, like, immediately. So there should never be a time when you have a credit card that's canceled. So this everybody who is into credit cards would know what kind of silly game you're trying to play. Now a woman might pay it, but since she's going to be so disgusted with you, that's why she didn't call you back and didn't accept your calls, because you're ashy. You're ashy as fuck. That's what you are. You're a dust mite. Trying to think like come off like you so clever. And like this is just some fabulous game that you thought up. This is something that only ashy people would do. You ought to have a way to figure out what a woman is like by talking to her. But remember, I told you guys in my article, the whole test, that women, that they always will run a test on you. Every single dude is going to test you. You're not going to like it. You're not going to want him to do it, but he's going to do it, and that's just the reality. Now, this game here is stupid. This is stupid. But I had to, show this to you because it's something that you guys need to think about. If you go on a date with a guy and he's talking about this on the first date, and he pulls a stunt like this where, oh, I forgot my wallet, my credit card is declined, can you catch it this time, and this and that, then what are you going to do? My suggestion is you tell the waitress to split the check. You pay your portion and you say, well, good luck, goodbye, and good riddance. And then you walk out the door, because that legally is the only part that you're obligated to pay, is the part for the stuff that you ate and drank. Okay, so remember that. You are under no obligation to cover that whole bill. You cover the part that you pay. They can't sue you for damages if you cover your part. The person who will be on the hook to cover it will be him. You skip on into your car or into your Uber and you go on about your business. So this is a lesson here that I think a lot of young, because you guys wouldn't know what to do. Now I just told you. That's how you handle it. Okay. Yeah, I like I know that people are talking about this sugaring thing. That you're not supposed to that you shouldn't accept a coffee date. A man should take you out to dinner and this and that, this and that. And I'm gonna tell you something. I don't associate my value with a date. I associate my value with the time that I spend. If I invest time with you, that means that you're worth something. Because my Deb's time is valuable. Do you know how much shit I have going on? I don't even have time to do everything that I want to do for myself. I'm supposed to be finishing this book about the college girls and stuff. My goal was to do it over the winter break, but I got sick, and so that didn't happen. And I have a lot of things, creative, exciting things going on in my life. So if I'm giving you a block of my time, that means you're valuable to me. I'm only going to give you a little bit of it going in the door because I don't know if you're valuable to me or not. So a coffee date sits at 30 minutes, I'm in and out. I get to see you, we exchange a few words, and then if it's good, we'll make plans to do something else another day. But right now, that's the end of it. 30 minutes, I'm out. Thanks for coming. Bye bye. So I'm not going to invest in a whole bunch of time. I don't want to be stuck nowhere for 2 hours having dinner with your ass. I don't want to do that. And it's on the first date. We're going to meet, we're going to have coffee or a sandwich lunch or at Subway, or we're going to do something where I can be in and out 30, 45 minutes. I'm not trying to give you some stranger a whole bunch of time. So you guys, these are women who spending, they don't have any value on their time. Their value is placed on what this guy buys them and how much money he spends on them. My time, I decide the value of my time, and my time is worth hundreds of dollars an hour, and I'm not spending it having dinner with a nignog that I don't know. Now, if I decide I like you and I want to spend 2 hours with you lingering over a meal or something, well, then we'll do that later. But right now, you got 30 minutes, 45 max, and then I gotta go. And that's just the way it is. And I love coffee, so and I could drink coffee 24 hours a day. I have to stop though. My doctor told me to stop and cut back only on 1 cup a day. But I just wanted to put that out there because people have criticized me about that. Saying that women should, he should take us out, or he should spend his money, and he should do this, and I'm not going if you don't do this and that. And you have every right to have that attitude if you want to. But see, I feel like my time is worth more than any little funky dinner, and so I don't care about that. If I want something fancy, I can call DoorDash. I can get in my car and drive over to the place and buy it myself. I don't do that. But my time is, I can't get my time back. That's one thing that once it's gone, it's gone. You can make more money. You can't make more time. Okay? Because that time is it. Your time on this planet is finite. Okay, and I want to decide who I spend it with and how much of it I give to certain people. So I'm not going on to keep hooking myself to no 2 hour dinner date with some knucklehead that I don't know. I'm not doing that. And it has nothing to do with my value of myself because I know I'm the shit. And that's just the way it is. So I just want to explain that and thank you, whoever sent me this meme, for giving me that opportunity. Because it's something that, has been discussed multiple times, and people was like not understanding where I was coming from with that. All right, now this was a doozy right here. Do you guys? I don't know who this person is. This, I don't really keep up with these rappers and stuff. Since Biggie and Tupac died, I just kind of like whatever. I don't really trip on the rappers anymore. But and I like Snoop too. But see, that's the '90s rappers. That was my era of my youth. And so now I'm old, and now I don't really be tripping on these people. So I don't even know who this dude is. But Chance the Rapper, everybody seems to know who he is. And this guy, this is a quote from him: "Marriage is dope because I get to live with a mama forever. Not my mama, but it damn near feels like it sometimes. Thank you for bringing Kinsley into this world, but also for occasionally being a mommy to me." I guess Kinsley's the little baby. She's cute. And being a mommy to me, I didn't quite know what I was supposed to do with that. Yeah, I see. I know it says that's Chance the Rapper. I saw that part, but okay. So I mean, what? I mean, I don't know who he is. What did he sing? I don't keep up with these people, so I don't know what he's talking about. And I was just kind of amazed. But it just brings back that thing that I always say, that men, they really want a mother that they can screw. It's like a twofer. And this is a perfect example. Occasionally being a mommy to me. I don't, I just, dudes who want to be doing that stuff where they want you to call them daddy and all that kind of stuff. See, I can't rock with that. I can't do that. It's if I start thinking about you as a parental figure, something like that, I can't get the hots for you. It's like it would seem incesty or something, and I can't do that. And so this kind of dynamic wouldn't work for me. I need you to be my man, 24/7. Not daddy. Okay, don't call me mama, mommy, none of that. Ma, all this stuff people like to do. Don't ever do that. You will be fired on the spot. Okay, that just gives me the itchies. It's just nasty and gross to me. I ain't your mama. I don't want no parts of you even thinking about you being in the bed with your mama. That's just nasty to me. What's wrong with you? These people think that that's cute? That is disgusting and gross. I can't. Yeah, that's why I say incesty. It just has like fragrance essence of it. It's just nasty. I just can't do it. So anyway, this is what that seemed like to me. And I'm sure he's a very nice gentleman. He looks very happy with his little marriage and his little baby. That's a genuine smile that he has there. It's not fake like the ones that what's his name, that married to Alicia. Uh, what's that guy's name? I can't think of the one who married the chick that plays the piano and stuff. Anyway, he left his wife, Rashonda, or whatever her name is, and in all the pictures with her, he had like this forced smile, or he never smiled at all. In every picture he's in with whatever her name is, Alicia, whatever, he gritted from ear to ear, showing 955 teeth. So you can tell when a man is happy with his mate, and this guy looks genuinely happy with his situation. So I'm happy for him. But dude, come on now, you got to make a switch with that mentality. That just ain't working for me, but I guess it's working for y'all. I'm fine. Now this was a trip right here. This dude, um, he called himself trying to make shame women, Talking about you gonna be sitting. If you want a man and you don't want to split the check with him, that means you're gonna end up single and old and living alone with a bunch of cats. You know, their typical thing that they like to hit you with. Yeah, Swiss Beats. There you go. Thank you. Alicia Keys, yes, see, I'm glad you guys keep up better than me. But yes, notice that? I used to wish look at him and say, God, he doesn't look very happy, right? Before I even really knew who he was. I just, because you be at the doctor's office or the dentist or whatever, and they have all these, like People magazine and all this stuff. And they would have, BET and all this stuff. And so, you're flipping through the magazines and you see, and he was pictured, he was very popular. And they always had pictures of him up, and he never was smiling, man, never showed not one tooth. Soon as he get with Alicia Keys, honey, arms all around her, just grinning. And even now, he just be grinning. So that's who he loves. And it's like people are like, well, she stole him from her. No, he didn't. He left her for Alicia. But they have a good relationship, so everybody need to just be quiet. They're making it work for the kids, and I love how they're doing things. But that's a side thing. But this dude here, I'm not splitting bills and rent with any man through her lonely two-bedroom condo. You know what that means? That means that she don't need to split bills, motherfucker, because she got her own shit. She got a two-bedroom condo. What do you have? Okay? What do you have? Why does she need to split bills with you? How's that going to benefit her if she holding her stuff down by herself? What you doing? What you adding to the pot? Coming up there talking all this noise. Like you such a prize. Little ugly looking little troll fool. His name should be James Troll, not James Troop. This is just kind of interesting here. So that was the message here that that you're not anything unless you have a man. That's basically what he's trying to communicate. It's the fact that you are enough of a go-getter that you went out and you had your down payment and you making your mortgage and you buy your own property where you're the owner of the property, but somehow that doesn't. He's just discounting that. This is a neg right here, right? This is a neg, so that nothing that you did meets his approval. It's not good enough, and that you are as a lonely woman living with some cats. You get no credit for all the other stuff that you did to make all this magic happen. He has his air mattress. Shut up. Thanks, Latoya. I just happened to be looking at the screen and saw that pop up. These dudes, I'm telling you, it's like, what the fuck do you have? Living in your car and stand on somebody's couch. Damn homosexual. All right, now this was all over um, Facebook in different groups, and people were seriously fighting about this, seriously arguing. I mean, they seriously was having, like a discussion about this, like there was anything that was right could possibly be right about this. So that they were going to assign responsibility. Whose fault is it? The husband's or the wife's? I'm not going to say anything about that. My thing is the fact that somebody came up with this guy came up with this as a question. You know, okay, it's like, you're married because he put husband and wife. He didn't say the man or the woman. He said husband and wife. Okay, so you're married. You tip out on your mate. And not only do you tip out, you get somebody pregnant. That means that you were barebacking. In spite of the fact that you're a married person. Okay, you barebacking enough to get somebody else pregnant. How does that work, sir? How in the world does that even work? And then to try to use that as fodder for discussion, to assign blame to the woman. It was amazing in this thread too how many women and men were saying it was her fault. It's her fault that she made him do it. She, forced him to do this, and that she should take the kid, and this. I mean, just all kind of stuff. It was just kind of amazing. I was just sitting there like I couldn't believe it. It's like people really do think way differently than Deborah, because that would never fly, not in my house. You doing this, you need to go over there with that raggedy baby that you just made, with that raggedy broad that you made it with. That's where you need to go. And so the 2 months that we didn't do, you got on my nerves. That's why I didn't want to touch you. I didn't want to look at you like that. You wasn't touching me. But see, guys never think about that part. It's like if you have a woman that loves you and she's attracted to you, but suddenly she withdraws from you and she doesn't want to do anything intimate with you, there's a reason, you idiot. Instead of getting mad because she won't do it, you need to be mad at yourself and figure out what you did that hurt her so deeply that she doesn't want anything to do with you. Not of an intimate nature. That means something's hurting her. Okay, and instead of you stepping outside of your narcissistic self to think about what that could might be so that you could fix it, so that your woman would be welcome you back into her arms again, instead you run off to some other woman and compound the felony by making a baby. Okay, so now you just destroyed your marriage forever. She'll never trust you again. She doesn't want to touch you anymore because now you got the cooties from the other broad because you was barebacking. So any chance you had to redeem your marriage now just went up in smoke. No, it didn't go up and explode. It exploded like an atomic bomb. And you did that by thinking for of yourself only. I don't know. They just never get that. We used to have this discussion, my husband with some of his frat brothers and stuff. They was into drama with their mates, and they would come over and want to commiserate with him. And I was like, you better watch what you say, because if I hear you saying the wrong stuff, you gonna be in trouble too. And so he was like, dude, but maybe you should talk to her. Maybe wouldn't it just happen? What happened? Why did why she stopped want to do it? I mean, what you do? What you do, dog? And so he understood what time it was. Like, you better counsel your friends the right kind of way and make them understand their role in this shit. Women don't, you love with a man enough to marry him and have his kids and shit, you're not going to just not want to screw him. Okay, you love him. You want to be with him. That's part of the package. That's why you signed on for that. And then suddenly, though, it's enough damage and series of pains that you just withdrew emotionally. You don't want. And when the woman is wounded and withdraws emotionally, she withdraws physically. You idiots. Okay, they just don't seem to connect them dots. But I just wanted to share that with you because they don't. Yeah, it is dusty logic for real. Thank you. Thanks, lady boss. Yeah, that's why you got to get a divorce. If your husband makes a baby with somebody else and he decides he don't want to pay it, or he does, he's gonna quit his job or something, so he don't have to pay it. Honey, they will come and tap your paycheck for that child support. Trust me, that has happened to too many women. So you got to pretty much get a divorce in order to keep your salary, because you get community property, right? So they don't get it from him; they gonna get it from you. They don't care. You married. Better watch that. Now, this is the one I was talking about where the guys have those businesses where they put on lectures and they sell DVDs and books and stuff to dudes who are trying to figure out how to get women. So now I don't remember which website I found this on. One of those, you know how they have those promotional letters where they try to sell their products? I was surfing around and I saw this shit here. And I read that, then I read it again, and then I took a screenshot because I'm like, okay, I need to show the ladies this and the kind of stuff that they're promoting to dudes. So for those of you listening while you're driving, I will help you out here. And the title of this paragraph is Decoding Woman Speak. This is one of the things that he promises that his if you spend this 99.99 or whatever it was, you're going to be able to magically do, right? You're going to be able to decode woman speak. So he's to explain what that is. He says no more double talk and not knowing what she means. No more flirty dates that end with I don't like you like that. You'll know what she means and always be a step ahead. Above and beyond decoding her, quote, female language, you will be able to fully understand her emotions, predict her behavior, and ultimately know her better than she knows herself. Not only will you be an absolute authority in her life, but in the beginning stages, when you know her specific character type, you will know exactly what type of date will appeal to her, when you can go in for that kiss, and when she's ready for physical intimacy. The difficult, once again, becomes easy. This is a very well written sales letter, I have to say, because I write them myself. This is very well written. And notice what he's doing. He's not selling the product, he's selling the benefits. And that's how you get people. You attach their emotions. And with dudes, he's getting to their emotions, their emotional pain. This is the same way I used to sell my personal training services. You find out what people's emotional pain is, and then, what is around their weight or whatever it is, whatever you're selling. If your product, your service is going to help alleviate that pain for them, then it's a pretty if they have the means to do it, they're going to buy. And if they don't, they're going to want to buy it. And so, in a case like this, he's got all these like these coder dudes and engineers and these tech heads, right? They're geeky little dudes. They don't know how to get to a woman, but what they do have is a lot of money. So by telling him that they'll be able to magically understand what women think, and they'll be a step ahead of her, and that they'll understand her better than she even understands herself, he'll become an absolute authority in her life, which means he'll have control over her. He'll know exactly what will appeal to her, and then he can go in for what he wants. And it's all about setting her up like a fat duck to manipulate and control her life to get what he wants. That's essentially what this is saying. Are you guys getting that? And this is a white boy. I just want to make that clear. It's a white boy that I got this website from. I'm not going to say his name. Uh, well, yeah, but they can't sell by saying that, Neo. They can't say what we by that. They have to make it sound like there's only one kind of woman, that we're all alike. We all think the same. We all want the same thing. We're all motivated by the same thing. We all talk the same. We all think the same. He has to do that in order to make these guys want to buy his stuff. If he says, well, every woman's going to respond to every man differently, and sometimes she'll respond to the man differently depending on what day of the month it is, because when a woman is ovulating, she's going to respond to certain types of guys in a different way. It's biological. Okay, it's biological. It's not. She can't even help it. It just happens. It's cellular, and versus if she's menstruating, it's just she's not gonna be really attracted to nobody because that's when her estrogen's at its lowest level. So these guys, I'm just saying, understand. I put this in here because I want you to understand what is going on out here in the singles world and what you're going to be running up into. You got thousands and thousands of men buying not this guy's program, but subscribing to websites, buying books, pamphlets, DVDs, CDs, going to these training sessions, these workshops, these lectures, and all that stuff, spending millions of dollars. This is a multi-million dollar industry. This, getting men to understand what women want nonsense. And this is the kind of stuff, like I was saying earlier, that the guys, they read and they listen to stuff, and then they go on these forums that are associated with these websites, and then they sit there and they say, yeah, I tried, elevating escalation trick 1213, and that really worked, and this is how I did it. And so they taking their geekiness and their tech, you know, skills and their love of data and process, and they're trying to apply that to human beings, to women, and that shit is not gonna work. It's like the guys would be better to teach them to how to communicate with people like human beings. Get out of their heads. Stop thinking that women are a thing and to see them as people. Talk to a person, interact with a human, do something that makes her see you as a person that is warm and friendly and funny and entertaining and that has love in his heart and stuff like that. But they can't do that. You know why? Because they don't have those skills. All they have is from one geek to another is teaching other geeks how to, to kind of like to analyze women like they're like a program or something. It's really bizarre. It's really bizarre. So, people think that, you know, there's Dusties of all races. I just want you to know that. So these little techie dudes, those are Dusties too. They just Dusties with a lot of money. But they dusty as hell. And, to them it's exciting to get you to talk to them. And I'm like, it's really not that big of a deal. I mean, I talk to everybody. I talk to little kids. I talk to old people. I talk to drunks. I talk to crazy people walking up and down the street talking to themselves. And they ask me a question, I'll answer it. I just I talk to anybody. So you get the conversation out of me. Don't put a feather in your cap because I talk to everybody because I'm a very interested in talking to people kind of person. So this kind of stuff here, a guy went away talking about, yeah, I did escalation trick 1217. And, this black lady, she really was talking to me. And blah, blah. So he's going to attribute it to, this $1,200 program that he paid for to it, quote, working. In reality, I was just talking to him because I think you're a freak and I just want to see what made you tick. That's the reality of it. Yeah, they're training narcs exactly, Diana. That's exactly what they're doing. He told you he was psychic. Say, well, what am I thinking right now? Tell me what I'm thinking right now. They when they say that kind of stuff to me, that's what I'll be fucking with them. What am I thinking right now? And then they'd be like, oh, you're thinking that, so they're going to try to play one of their little lines and be like, nope, wrong. What I was thinking is you're an idiot. That's what I was thinking. Should have known that. Speaking of which, I have an aside. I used to do this TV show here in Oakland. Those of you who know Oakland know about Soul Beat, right? I used to be on Soul Beat in the 90s. And I had this woman who was a psychic come on my show. And I was so cold. And so okay, the door to the studio opened outward. It was this big, heavy steel door, because they wanted to keep the Nignows from breaking in and taking all the equipment. So this door probably weighed like 200 pounds. It's a steel plated, bulletproof door. And so it opened outward. And so she was standing right behind the door, right? So when I went to open it, it clocked her in the head. So she was on the show with this big old red bruise. She was a very pale skinned woman, black woman. And she had this big old mark on her head and stuff. So I'm sitting there looking at her with my stupid ass, because you know that how much younger was I in the 90s. And I'm looking at her with this bruise on her head. And I'm like, well, you say you psychic. And she said, yes. Well, how did you didn't know that the door opened outwards? And so you got clocked in the head. And I said that right on the show. And everybody, all the tech people in the background, everybody was laughing. And she was looking at me all kinds of crazy. But I was serious. I was a heart attack. If you really truly psychic, how come you didn't know that? And you got your head all cracked open. That was kind of funny to me. But what can I say? I don't have good sense. I admit it. So yeah, so there you go. That, the difficult once again becomes easy. All about gaining control, ladies. Gaining control. All right, we got a couple of more in this session of the Dusty News Network. Now, this is a shot from a book, and the book is called Man Learn or something. I don't know, something about that. I don't have my glasses on, so I'm blind as a bat. I can read some big stuff. Uh, But anyway, it has some rules for what women are supposed to do. Now, the part that got me was, never belittle your man or talk down to him, or which talk down is the same as belittle. Never ignore him. Don't let him feel replaceable. But he is, though. Don't play down your need for him. Don't cause him to feel embarrassed. Don't look away or text while he's talking. Why? He might be talking shit. Don't want to hear that. Never manipulate him. Never boss him. Never laugh at his mistakes or his faults. Never put any person before him. Never be too busy for him. Never be inconsiderate of his feelings. Never tell his personal business. So, in other words, what you're supposed to be is this all satisfying person that meets all of his needs all of the time, like a psychic mama. That's what you're supposed to do, according to this book. Now, that was kind of, bad enough that it had all them rules of what you were supposed to never do. And then it says, but it doesn't matter if the man who you are dealing with is your daddy, your grandfather, a boyfriend of 2 weeks, which I highlighted, or your husband of 50 years. This is how women should respect all men at all times. Now, what do you say to something like that? How many of these am I going to break? Every single one of them. Because if you're stupid, I'm going to talk down to you. If you do some dumb shit, I'm going to taunt you about it. If I need some time for myself and you still know my nerves, I'm going to ignore you. Play down my need. Maybe I don't need you right now. I need you to get out of my face. That's what I need you to do. These people feel like because you're in a relationship that your life becomes his. I mean, dude, for real? I have other needs and friends and relationships and things to think about and do other than cater to you all the time. What is wrong with you? And these dudes was like all co-signing on this nonsense. Just like, oh, this is great. Yeah, this is how we should be treated. This is how women are supposed to do. Women don't know how to be wives anymore. They just want to do what they want to do. Feminism! It's because it's feminism. Feminism's fault. Was women, in the olden days, they used to know how to take care of their men. Now these women are too independent. They don't want to do anything for men. I was just like, I'm telling you, I spend a lot of time just staring at these memes. Usually it's hard for me to be speechless. I was speechless several times. This stuff y'all was sending in this week was like, what? What in the world? How do they come up with that? That makes no sense. I mean, I was saying stuff like that to myself. It's like, wow, this is deep. But yeah, whether it's your boyfriend or 2 weeks, you're supposed to give him all this kind of honoring and reverence that you would give a husband of 50 years, your daddy and your grandfather. Okay, two of them people you related to by blood, and even they ain't gonna get all of that. Them other two, a boyfriend of 2 weeks, well, 2 weeks from now, I might not know that motherfucker. He's out. He's out. What I'm supposed to like treat him like all of that just because he's in my face? No. And then the husband of 50 years, well, I mean, that's great, but what's he doing for me? You better have a similar list and he better be executing everything on it. Then we can talk. But if this is all one sided where he does what he wants to do and then I'm supposed to be like a slave jumping through hoops doing all this stuff for a man, that's definitely never happened. That's why married women are so miserable and exhausted because they have this kind of stuff in there, burdening them down, and why single women with no kids are happy and carefree and doing what they want to do without a care in the world because they don't have anybody having these kind of expectations of their time. I'm telling you, your time is valuable. In a situation like this, you're giving all your time and energy to a man. Let me put this back over here so you can see it again. You are giving your time and energy and focus to him. See, because you can't um make him feel that he's replaceable, and you can't ignore him, and you can't be too busy for him, and you can't be put any person before him. So that means you can't have friends whose needs come before him, even if it's your parents or something. Nobody's needs supposed to come before him. What about your little children? This is the kind of dude that demanded they get their plate first, even up before the kids and stuff like that. This is loserness right here. Thanks, Maddox. I just happened to look up to see that. That's a very nice testimonial. She says that this channel changed her life, and she loves me. Oh, yeah. This is just kind of this kind of stuff irritates the hell out of me, to tell you the truth. That women still read this and still fall for this kind of game. It's really unfortunate. All right, so let's move on because there's not too much to say about that. I think that's the last slide, but I do have a bonus slide here, and this is a dusty woman. And this is a real slide from a thing I provide advice on some other sites. And this lady, um, I forgot what we was talking about. Something about yeah, I was sharing a story about this dude's mother that I was engaged to at one point. And then after she came in the house changing furniture around, I broke that shit up. And so then this lady comes back talking about you can't always blame the mom because there's a lot of men that are mama's boys. Those are the ones to stay away from, stay clear from. And then I'm like, well, they became a mama's boy because of their mother. I mean, what you just typed makes no sense. And I was like, okay, sometimes people just want to be contrary. You know what I mean? You say something and they just want to have a contrary view. Even if the contrary view does not make a lick of damn sense, they want to have a controverting opinion and try to make it just seem like you're wrong. And I think that's what she was trying to do. And I'm like, okay, you can't become a mama's boy without a mama. Okay, that lady, what are you talking about? And so I just had a good laugh. I noticed she never came back to say anything about it, but I was like, wow, this is kind of deep. So, and I want to repeat, if you guys come across some kind of memes, or you see some posts on a forum or some comments that some guy posted, and you would think it would be good to share here on the Dusty News Network on our Roasted Friday. Please email it to me at survivingdating@gmail.com and make the subject line Dusty News, and it will filter into my folder for this programming, which we will be doing through the summer. I don't know if I'll be doing it every Friday, but we just did 3 Fridays in a row because I had so much good stuff I wanted to share with you that it was just like kind of unbelievable. But yeah, that's what you do. Survivingdating@gmail.com, and make sure that your subject line says Dusty News. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Um, I don't, know what else to say about the dusty men that are out here in the dating field. It's really interesting, I think, to see I mean, I can talk about how they think, how the stuff that they say and stuff, but to have evidence of it to show you, I think is the best. Because I can give you my interpretation, I can say what they see, what they mean, and all stuff. But a lot of women, it just seems like they really struggle with really believing me until they see the evidence that men have posted. And they're not doing it in response to anything that I said. They're just doing it of their own free will. They just are dumb. I mean, they're very sexist, they're very misogynistic, they're very controlling, domineering, and they all think that, you're supposed to spend your time and energy catering to them and making their life better while they do nothing but take, 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 take from you. So all these women talking about, I hold my man down, I do all this stuff. You better rethink that. What is he doing for you? That's his role. Okay, so it's like the roles are flipped. And modern women, going to getting all this education and getting all this money, these high paying jobs and all this stuff, you guys are outpacing a lot of the men that you're coming into contact with, and you're assuming the role that was traditionally that of the man, being the provider, being the go-getter, being the mover and the shaker out in the world, the hobnobber and all the stuff. You're assuming that role, and you're doing it because the man isn't. So there's like a play off here, and when one person is lagging, the other one tends to rise because the goal is to keep things the same. So if you start off here and then one starts slacking off, well, then you're going to go up here because you want to keep that balance, to keep it 100%, right? So this was now at 25, so you at 75, so that you still keep that 100% balance. If he came back to 50, then you could drop to 50, and then it would still be 100. Or you have a baby or whatever. You drop to 25. He's supposed to step up to 75 to take care of his wife and his baby, because you're in a position now where you can't physically, okay, or health problems or whatever. But you have this thing where the men aren't stepping up anymore. They're not doing it, and they resent being asked to. So they want to stay down here, and they want you to carry the load. So you guys, I mean, some of you are okay with that. I'm not saying it's a bad thing across the board. Some of you are very assertive and go-getters, and you don't mind doing that. But I want you to pause and make sure that you're being taken care of, though, emotionally. Okay, you got to be, there has to be some benefit to you, something he's providing you that you can't provide yourself. If there's nothing, if you have to do all the housework, you have to do all the child care, you out there making all the money, you cleaning and cooking when you come home from making all the money, and you want him to spend time, you want to do stuff with him and all stuff, and he's too busy playing video games, or he's too busy with his friends, or you can't find him, well then please explain to me how is that relationship benefiting you? What you're giving is out of balance to what you're receiving. So, just think about that. That's all I'm saying. Just think about it. You don't have to, man doesn't always have to be the sole provider or even the majority provider. But he better be providing something that you find of value that you cannot provide yourself. If that is not the case, then you have a bum, a dusty bum. So we'll be back. I don't know what I'm gonna do over the weekend, but I will be doing something. Probably put up some videos. We might have a pop up. Make sure you're a subscriber. Hit that bell symbol in case I decide to just power up my computer and start talking. I'm known to do that sometimes when I don't feel like doing a recording. And I will see you guys on Tuesday for sure with the live stream of What the Fuck Tuesday relationship advice. If you have a question you want to submit, send it in to Surviving Dating. I'm sorry, log onto the blog at Surviving Dating com and fill out the Get Advice form. There's also a link in the show description page down below. This is Deb Cooper, Surviving Dating, here, and the advice columnist here on the Debsterism channel on YouTube. Thank you guys for coming, and I will see you on the weekend. Bye bye.